The EPA now says concentrations of microcystin produced by blue-green algae is unsafe at any level above 8 parts per billion.
An algae crisis threatening our treasure coast.
A cycle of despair and disgust amidst promises made and broken.
Billions of gallons of water are rushing from Lake Okeechobee to our coastline.
How much pollution is too much? How much danger is too much? How much before this will stop?
The Corps of Engineers relies upon the east and the west coast to discharge billions, hundreds of billions of gallons of water to those coasts. But the Corps of Engineers doesn't consider the effects on those coasts.
The long-term diseases associated with cyanobacteria are liver failure, and here in Martin County we have a documented liver failure hotspot. Additionally, ALS, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's are diseases linked to cyanobacteria in the long term.
You can clearly smell the algal bloom. It is toxic. Nobody can be out by their swimming pool. It's not a far stretch to say there's a health impact.
In the near term, we know that there are respiratory issues. We've heard anecdotally at Martin County that heart attacks go up by 50%.
You travel anywhere in our community, people are coughing, they're complaining of pneumonia, they're complaining of sinus infections that they've never had before.
At Martin County Health, they ask, pregnant women when they come in, have you been in the river? They ask people when they come in, what happened to you? The fact that the Army Corps of Engineers isn't notifying communities when cyanobacteria is being dumped into them is completely unacceptable. It's irresponsible.
We deserve to know by our government, especially when the government knows that there is something harmful in the water, that is occurring.
New bill introduced by Treasure Coast Republican Congressman Brian Mast would require the Army Corps of Engineers to prioritize your health during any Lake Okeechobee discharges.
Well, U.S. Congressman Brian Mast introduced new legislation today that would force the Army Corps of Engineers to let communities know if water contaminated with cyanobacteria is coming their way.
Because we saw, obviously, nausea, long-term health effects, dead animals, from people's domestic pets to sea life in our area. This is not something that is unknown. People deserve to know what's going on with this.
So one of the bills that I introduced recently was the Toxic Health Threat Warning Act. And the premise behind this is just basic good governance. It
is, I believe, the government's responsibility to be transparent and let people be informed on what the health risks are.
And that's why we're so appreciative of Congressman Mast's legislation to notify people.
So when we talk about discharges out of Lake Okeechobee, it should be good governance that the Corps of Engineers either test that water themselves for toxins like cyanobacteria, they use a state agency to test the water, or a non-government agency to test the water. They need to then alert the public to whether there are toxins or are not toxins in that water, and then they need to alert the public to what are the hazards of those toxins. That should be something that the government should be pining to do. That's a basic responsibility for the government. Protect the people, protect the health, protect the safety of the people. They should be doing this. They are not doing this. That's what this bill is all about, is making sure that if the Corps of Engineers are going to discharge water, that it gets tested, that testing gets notice to the public, and that the hazards of what's tested for is made known to everybody that may have the potential of coming in contact with that water. It's important.